Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima, and today is Sunday, July 12th. I'm going to be continuing to play the game Persona 3 Reload as a part of my Persona a Day series. That's where I've been playing the game one in-game day at a time, right in line with the real calendar. As I like to do, I'm going to start off by going over what we did yesterday, just to make sure we're all coming into today with the same information. Then we'll get into today's gameplay and see where that takes us, and after that we'll come back here to the desk and talk about it some. I will have timestamps in the description in case you want to jump ahead to a different section. Also, please be aware that this is a full playthrough of the game, so we will be encountering spoilers. So let's start off by going over what happened yesterday on Saturday, July 11th. It was a big day, it was a busy day, it was an important day, a lot of stuff happened, so this is one of those pivotal ones that kind of felt like it changed everything for us. Didn't really start out that way as the day started at school. Thankfully this time I was able to correctly answer a history question. There was a little bit less to infer there, though I did still kind of go back and forth on it, but I was able to correctly answer the question and gain a little bit of progress towards my charm stat. The rest of the day went well, class-wise, and after school I received a text from Akihiko, informing me that the chairman wanted to meet with all of us in the evening, so to plan accordingly. I did that, or I made plans for that, but beforehand I headed back to check out the sale at the pharmacy, do a little bit of shopping there, pick up some medicine. I bought some more food for the cat. I was able to take the weak cat some food as well yesterday, and I get to keep doing that until it's had its fill, so I'm happy to keep doing that. And after that, I had a little bit of time left before the meeting at the dorm, so I headed over to the shrine to meet up with Maiko. She wanted to play, and it was just another pleasant day there. She is still continuing her plans to run away, but none of that came up yesterday. It was just a nice time to relax and play, be out there in the sun, work off some energy, and clear my mind from other thoughts. So we got a little bit closer, we both had fun, but it wasn't enough to actually advance to a new rank in the social link just yet. After all that, I headed back to the dorm for that important meeting. We all assembled up in the command room, and Chairman Ikutsuki was at the chair at the end, and he was just about to reveal something when Yukari stopped him. He said, "Wait, before we go on, I want to ask Kirijo-senpai something." And that's where she'd mentioned doing some research into that incident from 10 years ago. We've heard bits and pieces around from other students and heard information by way of cutscenes about that, but she and Fuuka had been looking into actual specifics about that. There was some sort of explosion that happened that resulted in students being hospitalized, and she's had her misgivings for a while on just how transparent Mitsuru, Akihiko, and Chairman Ikutsuki have been in what they do and don't know about the Dark Hour and the Shadows and Tartarus and all that. So she asked Mitsuru, does that incident from 10 years ago have anything to do with the Dark Hour? It wasn't one of those uncertainties anymore of can you tell us X, Y, or Z? It was like, is this true? Did this happen? Is there a connection? And Mitsuru said, yes, there is. And she also said that I didn't tell you because I didn't think it was important to share that information for what we need to do. Knowing that doesn't change what we have to do or our abilities to stop the shadows, so Mitsuru decided not to say anything about that. We kind of talked a bit yesterday on whether or not that was the right call. You could make a case both ways. Yukari was very much against that sort of lie by omission idea, and she straight up threw that in Mitsuru's face and said, "You lied to us. You're just using us. What else haven't you told us?" So Mitsuru then did kind of come a bit more clean on things, and she explained a lot more of the background. The Kirijo Group, her family, was doing something in the area. 14 years ago, her grandfather was leading the Kirijo Group, and he wanted to gather shadows for some kind of purpose. So the group began gathering shadows. Fast forward 4 years from there, which puts us 10 years ago from the events of the game, and that is when some incident occurred. Something went wrong somewhere, somehow, and there was an explosion. All the shadows that they'd collected had managed to escape, and they had come apart, whatever you want to say. The large mass of shadows separated into 12 large, powerful, special shadows and dispersed somewhere. At the same time, that explosion seemed to lead to the creation of the Dark Hour and Tartarus. We kind of put two and two together from there, wondering what other specifics that means. We'd heard about an explosion that caused the school to be redeveloped, and Tartarus happens to be at the school, and it was confirmed that the research facility had been located at Gekkokan High, which is why it had exploded, which is why Tartarus is there, which is why the school had to be redeveloped. All sorts of huge, important details that Yukari was, again, very unhappy to not be shared. Mitsuru also countered again that that doesn't really change what we were trying to accomplish as C's here. But Yukari was just borderline livid on that and said, no, you're just using us to clean up your family's mess. You could have told us, but you chose not to. So, you made that choice. So the trust issues that have kind of been bubbling under the surface for a while, they are very much out in the open right now. Akihiko tried to calm things down, and Yukari wasn't hearing it. She was just as mad, said, you probably just want to keep this going so you can keep testing your strength and fighting these strong shadows. And he wasn't happy about that either. I was just kind of along for the ride. I wasn't able to interject anything. I didn't really want to step foot into that back and forth either. I can see where everybody's coming from. It's not like this is one of those, one party is clearly wrong. There are ways that both sides could have probably handled things better, but it is what it is, and we have to move forward with that now. Thankfully, Chairman Ikutsuki was there, and he was able to kind of try to steer things back in a good direction and said, okay, now that we know all this, now that we've talked this out, let's use it. Let's move past it. Because what I was going to say before we had this tangent was my research has come further, and I have an important announcement. He said that since we've beaten these 6 strong shadows as of last Tuesday's operation, he has strong evidence suggesting that once we defeat all 12 of those shadows, the 12 that had emerged from the explosion, once we can defeat all 12 of those, that should put an end to the Dark Hour. Put an end to Tartarus, the threat of the shadows, all of it. So that kind of changed a lot of things. We have a different level of purpose now. We have a greater understanding of what our long-term mission is. We've basically confirmed where the shadows appear, or not where, but how they appear during the full moon. So we know when to look for them and when to be prepared for them. We have some idea of their origin now, that they came from that explosion. And we have a specific goal to beat the remaining 6, to stop the Dark Hour, stop the spread of Apathy Syndrome, the shadows, and everything plaguing the area. So that side was encouraging, but I don't think the team is in a good state right now in the immediate aftermath of all of that. A lot of things were said and a lot of things were brought out into the open that you can't take those sorts of things back now, and they just have to be addressed and moved forward. So despite the good side of the information, we all kind of left, and I'm thinking it wasn't a very cheery evening around the dorm. Downstairs, Fuuka and Junpei were kind of going over the notes of the meeting, trying to sort it all out between the two of them. I talked to Chairman Ikutsuki after the meeting, and he actually had some more information. I'd asked how the company was able to handle something like this. And he said that they found someone to pin the whole incident on. Some mistake that had been made, or something had happened, and there was an individual that they were able to pin the problems on, which was allowed the company to save face, but that didn't change what happened. But I was also able to get some more information about Mitsuru and Akihiko. I was kind of unsure about asking Chairman Ikutsuki about them, since I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of going behind someone's back and asking about details like that, but for what he was able to tell me, he said that Mitsuru actually had been awoken to her persona's abilities at a young age. As a part of the Kirijo Group, she was analyzed and studied and tested on to develop a lot of the materials we're using now, like the evokers and understanding persona abilities and the like. So from a very young age, she's been either contributing to her family or being used by her family to understand more about combating the shadows. And I think she still remains committed to that from what we've seen. And then, so that kind of implies some level of her motivation for things. I was also able to ask about Akihiko, and it was revealed that he awoke to his persona back in middle school, and he'd known Mitsuru for quite some time. And so he was kind of in the same boat as she was, in some level of development of the technology we use. And apparently there also used to be a third member back at that point, but Chairman Ikutsuki stopped himself before revealing any more information at that point, so that was a little bit of a nugget of information I really wanted to follow up on, but didn't have the chance to. That was, new information again, that it was nice to have, and hopefully I can build on that somewhere else. But it was just so much to take in for the team. Between the information and the fact of how it was revealed and just the feelings amongst the team. Yukari still, I believe, doesn't trust the leadership of those at the top of the organization anymore. Junpei's not happy with me because he sees himself as just as capable a leader as I am, and he hasn't been given a fair chance. So, yeah, things aren't really in a great state right now. There's a lot to work on as a team. Thankfully, the full moon was just this past Tuesday, so we do have a little bit of time to try to right the ship a little bit. But last night, I just wanted that break after all of that. I went to Wakatsu Kitchen for the remainder of the evening to get a good meal, gain some academic progress, and try to just decompress after all that and take it all in and sort out my thoughts and feelings on it. So it was a good meal in a quiet atmosphere. Gave me time to think, gain some academic progress, and just breathe that sigh after the end of a busy day like that. So after dinner, I headed back to the dorm, got upstairs to my room, relaxed maybe a little bit before bed, got into bed. At the very least, today is Sunday, so it's a day off, so I have that to look forward to. Hopefully, after a night of rest, we can all kind of have cooler heads prevail and start talking things out rather than continuing down these dubious paths with a relationship amongst the team. Time will tell on that, but that's how we left things off yesterday. So now that we're all caught up, let's get over to today's gameplay and see what happens next in Persona A Day. We'll be right there. Okay, so here we are. This is where we left off at Wakatsu Kitchen last night. I just gained those couple points of academic progress. And just enjoyed that good dinner after that somewhat stressful meeting. I mean, there was a lot of information, but there were a lot of tempers raised as well, and it was just a tough time for everyone involved, I think. So it was nice to follow up with a bit of a break like this. But that was how Saturday came to a close. Takes us on into Sunday, caught up with a calendar to keep the days going. Oh.
Lounging about as usual, huh?
Didn't expect a cutscene right at the start of the day. I like it. That's all I say. He just looks up. Yeah, basically, oh yeah, what's it to you?
Hugh, what do you want? If you're gonna ask me to go back, the answer's still no.
This is a follow-up to a cutscene we saw not that long ago between the two of them at Hagakure Ramen. Shinjiro was in there eating, and Akihiko came in and tried to convince him of something similar there about using his power to come back. Yeah, using his power and coming back.
That's not why I'm here. I was just making sure you were still around. That's so.
You could almost sense the raised eyebrow and that look up. Like, oh yeah, is that why you're here? Okay then.
We've known each other a long time.
We have inferred as much. The very first time we met Shinjiro was at the hospital in Akihiko's room, where Akihiko said, oh yeah, he's an old friend of mine. And we've seen, that level of familiarity between the two of them, in that Akihiko calls him Shinji and Shinjiro calls him Aki. So, there's a lot of comfort and knowledge of each other between the two of them, it seems.
It's been almost 14 years since we met at the orphanage.
And hearing lines like that, I mean, this is new information for us, but that number 14 years, very specifically, that is such a tie-in to the meeting from last night. It's like, wow, 14 years? What a weird coincidence. That was exactly when they started collecting the shadows at the Kirijo Group. Huh, 14 years. What are the odds?
You, me, and Miki. We used to run around here until the sun went down.
Yeah, Miki's not a name we've heard yet. Also, he said we used to run around here until the sun went down. He didn't say we used to run around at the orphanage until the sun went down, or wherever. He said here, which could be an interesting choice of words, but I like to believe that means literally here.
Back then, it seemed like we had all the time in the world.
Isn't that how it goes when you look back as well? Oh yeah, I mean, the future, that's forever away. I've got all the time I want. Summer's gonna go on forever. But time keeps moving.
Huh. You haven't changed one bit. If you want to get all sappy, go do it with your other pals. What was that? It's rare for you to think about the past. Usually, you just charge ahead like a damn fool.
That's an interesting portrayal. It does seem kind of true that we haven't seen much of Akihiko talking about the past specifically. I never really see him as a fool. He does seem to have somewhat of a one-track mind when it comes to training, but he's a breadth of knowledge there, and he's very much dedicated to it, but I wouldn't say he's a fool in that regard.
You've never been good at hiding shit.
He does seem like the kind that would have trouble hiding things, though. He doesn't seem to object to that assertion either.
Everyone thinks about the past. Even me.
True.
Anyway, we finally know how to get rid of Tartarus in the Dark Hour.
That's interesting too. I don't believe Akihiko and Shinjiro have talked specifically about things like this yet, about the Dark Hour in Tartarus. We've kind of been able to infer based on things that we've heard, but this, I think, is the first time we've actually seen clear, concrete talk about the things that we know about that the regular people don't.
No shit?
Ooh. Wow, that seemed like it surprised him. This wasn't a huge reaction out of him, but I could definitely sense a bit of a slip in that cool demeanor.
Yeah. The thing is, all I've cared about until now is getting stronger. Everything else came second.
That does seem kind of true. I mean, it's hard to really say because we don't know a lot of specifics about Akihiko's past, so it is hard to not make inferences on that. But after last night, after everything that went down, after everything that was said, it does kind of sound like he is reevaluating things a little bit more and saying, have I been focusing on the right things? Have I been doing what I'm supposed to do? Should I care about more than I am caring about right now? And I really like to kind of frame this scene as this is his chance to talk to a friend of his about that. I've got all these problems that are in my head. I want to talk to somebody about that. Who better to go to than you about this? I know I can trust what you're going to tell me, and I can talk things out, because sometimes that's easier than just kind of getting it all in your head and being stuck in that loop.
But yesterday, someone made me question my reason for fighting.
Your reason for fighting? Huh. It's different for everyone. But if you don't have a good one, you can always quit.
Ooh. Not wrong. Very, very blunt. But sometimes that's the kick you need to hear. Like, yeah, if your heart's not in this, give up. Akihiko seems like the last person who would give up something like that, but that makes me think back to a couple weeks ago during the art club with Keisuke. He was talking about quitting the art club, and he didn't really want to because he liked art, but his dad wanted him to quit. And it gave me that dialogue option to basically play the role that Shinjiro is here and say, so, are you just going to do what everybody says? Are you going to give up? And at that time, Keisuke's like, no, I like what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing this. And it kind of felt like it motivated him. So I wonder if Shinjiro's kind of trying to take the same approach with Akihiko here and saying, if you don't like this, quit. Maybe that's that way to kind of push Akihiko to realize what's important to him.
That's what I did.
That's an interesting follow-up. Again, that frames a lot of things that we had thoughts about differently.
I'm not like you.
Is that a statement or trying to convince oneself?
Man, I can't believe I'm the one getting lectured here. Well, see you around.
They can say so much to each other in such short lines. You know, just that tick there. Like, that speaks volumes, and I'm sure between the two of them it says even more than we're able to pick up on. And there's that common understanding between them. It's like, okay, we've covered everything we were going to cover. We'll see you around. And again, just shows how close they are.
You really haven't changed at all.
Oh, what a way to start Sunday. Oh, and it continues.
Yes?
And I'm actually really glad the game is kind of giving us this look. Because as everything left last night, it was tense. It was meant to be tense and uncomfortable. There was the good knowledge of now that we are trying to fight the remaining 6 shadows and put an end to the Dark Hour, we've got renewed purpose. But at the same time, that close-knit team cohesion is anything but right now. And to kind of see everybody separating now, Akihiko going out his own way. I went off to dinner last night kind of by myself to think about it. Now we're seeing another scene here.
Can I talk to you for a moment?
It's Mitsuru. I was really going to think it was going to be Yukari.
Senpai, this is unusual.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Please, come in.
Look at all those
So
flowers?
not only do you excel at providing support during battle, you are also quite skilled at gathering information.
That's definitely one of those lines of how should I take that? Is that a thank you for noticing, or is that a where are you going with this? Should I be worried? Did I dig too deep, sort of thing? I still, for everything we've heard and seen, I still do trust Mitsuru. Her line about not bringing up past information because she didn't think it was relevant to what we're going through, I agree with that. Everybody's got things that they know that other people don't, that aren't worth sharing because the other side doesn't need to know. And this felt like one of those things. So, could she have shared more? Sure. Should she have? You could make a case for that in hindsight, but they say hindsight's 20/20, right? But let's see where this goes.
Oh, I'm sorry for doing that without permission.
Don't worry, you're not in trouble. But I do have an important favor to ask of you.
Okay. Again, is this just a favor, or is this I'm not happy with what happened, but let's fix this by having you do something for me. Again, I don't think it is anything like that, but I wonder if those thoughts are kind of going through Fuuka's head here.
I want you to find out as much as you can about that incident 10 years ago.
Oh, well, very little of that was made public.
I know. That's why I want you to access the Kirijo Group's database.
You mean hack into their system?
I knew Fuuka liked computers, but wow.
Is that allowed?
I can't imagine it would be. I think anytime you have to hack into something, you've already crossed a very clear legal area of no, it's not allowed.
I'll give you my ID and password. Then you won't be held accountable.
I'm not sure it works that way either. I still believe unauthorized access to things is frowned upon. Anybody out there, I don't recommend it. Be smart.
But I need to know the truth. In detail.
This is interesting too. I mean, I wonder how much of last night made Mitsuru question what she's thought and believed and been told before. I mean, just how much did she actually know? Maybe the act of not telling us wasn't because she didn't think we needed to know, but maybe it was because she herself didn't have enough information to really go on. It's hard to say, and it's all speculation at this point, but why else would she be asking for more specifics from 10 years ago?
Senpai.
And I can kind of also understand her coming to Fuuka with this in isolation first off. It's one of those, my first thought was, well, we should talk about this as a whole team, but after last night, I don't think a lot of us want to get in the same room and talk about rehashing everything from just a handful of hours ago last night. There kind of needs to be that little bit of time to gain new information and new perspective on things.
Of course, I'll understand if you refuse.
And I love that too. I mean, we've heard this the whole time through, and I brought this up last night as well. I don't want to keep interrupting the scene here, but there's just so much of it that feels so important. But I'll understand if you refuse. We've heard that from day one with joining Seas and participating in operations and things. So Yukari mentioning feeling used and like we were being tricked into being here. We've always been given the option to refuse. I don't think there's been any time where it hasn't been our choice to involve ourselves in these things. Once the operation started, we did kind of coordinate things and have people positioned where it made sense to have them, but I don't remember there ever being a time where we were instructed to be required to go to Tartarus, to face the shadows, to put ourselves in danger. So it's really hard to say that we were being used when we had a choice. If we go along with something and we choose something, that's the core of this whole playthrough. The consequences of our choices are ours to bear by choosing the choices we choose. So we can continue to go along with these things, but that is our choice. You can't really blame other people once you've made a choice.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
And credit to Fuuka here too. She's committed. She's like, yeah, I will do this. I want to do this. You're trusting me to do it, so I will live up to that trust. No questions, no doubts.
Sure?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was just kind of thinking that too. It's like, just like that? Really?
I appreciate it. Yamagishi, aren't you resentful?
Such good voice acting in this game, but just that delivery right there. Aren't you resentful? That felt like a lot more vulnerability to her voice than we typically hear with her confident delivery on things.
Regardless of my good intentions, I did drag you into this without fully explaining.
True.
I'm sure you must have at least a few complaints.
I was kind of talking about this with my own character as well, and how I joined right along the other day, or at the beginning. We were talking about the other day about how I joined the organization without many questions and things. And again, that's my choice. And I feel like if there were ever any complaints to have, the team is close enough to be able to address them. It didn't really need to fester below the surface this long. I really feel like things could have been handled if we had just openly voiced some of these concerns. Again, that's always easier to say looking back. Again, hindsight being what it is, but I never felt that Mitsuru or Akihiko were unapproachable. I mean, yeah, there were nights when they weren't at the dorm, so, there was physical distance between us. But on those other nights, I felt like I could take things to them and they would tell me. So if I'm sitting on information and worrying about it and not doing anything about it, it doesn't really feel right for me to throw it back in their face later because I could have asked about that. So yeah, in this case, if I were asked about this, don't you have any complaints? It's like, no. I made the choices I made. By not asking, that's a choice. There you go. So I don't really have the right to complain about a problem I created for myself. I don't have to like it, and I can complain about myself putting myself there, but I can't blame other people for something I did to myself.
Not really.
Yeah. Once again, the game was able to say something in 2 words that I took 3 minutes to say.
Did you know my entire family is made up of doctors? My parents are the one exception.
I did not know that. That is interesting. That also kind of frames the art club in a different way, because I think she can kind of see President Keisuke Hiraga in a different light, because he's also the son of a major hospital, head doctor, owner, whatever you want to call it. And he's expected to carry on the family business. So, this bit of background information, I'm sure she sees Keisuke in a specific way now that we know this about Fuuka.
It gives them a bit of an inferiority complex. That's why they're so hard on me. I don't like being at home.
That's a sad thing to hear. Understandable for a lot of people, so, there's no judgment there, but it's just too bad to hear.
But here, I'm able to do something no one else can. I have a purpose. So no, I don't have any complaints.
Well said, Fuuka. Very well said.
You're right. We can't do this without you.
And credit to Mitsuru for acknowledging that and voicing it, and giving that praise and that level of trust. It's not just like, okay, we can use you to do this. It's like, we can't do this without you. We need you. You're not a pawn or a tool in this. You're a valuable member of the team, and only you can do this. So I'm relying on you with this.
No one could take your place.
Exactly.
Oh.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
A very good scene. Where next? No, okay.
So, Tartarus and the Dark Hour are on the way out.
And this is so interesting, too, coming off of the last two. I promise I'm not going to do this with everyone, but I'll try not to anyway. But everything I see, I feel like I have to kind of chime in. Everybody else was talking to somebody so far. Akihiko met up with Shinjiro. Fuuka was talking to Mitsuru. But here, Junpei is by himself, just sitting out in front of a screenshot. Still thinking about things just like everybody else is, but he doesn't have the other side to kind of play things off of. I'm probably in the same boat looking at everybody we've already seen so far, but we'll just see if there's any sort of different thoughts here, since he is just trapped in his own thoughts, and he's just going to continue to reinforce his own thinking this way. I mean, can he easily step back and be objective about that when you don't know and you've got no one else to bounce things off of?
No, that's a good thing. That's what we've been fighting for.
Okay, he is actually trying to take that step back. The other day, he mentioned kind of being concerned, like, if the Dark Hour ends, won't we lose our powers? Won't we lose what makes us special? And even now, he's like, is that a good thing? And to be able to have that bit of rationality come through and say, yeah, that is a good thing. That's what we've been fighting for. We're trying to stop this.
So then, why?
But those doubts don't go away, even if you know the right answer. It doesn't change the other side of that.
Damn it! Why am I so pissed?
it's hot, even for July.
There's a reminder.
Wow, can't believe we're already third years. Guess this will be the last time we'll wear these uniforms and hang out after school.
Who cares? I just want to get into college and start having fun already.
Isn't that how so many things think? Mutatsu-san talked with us as well about that. And yeah, I think the grass is greener on the other side all the time. Why are you coming into a club like this? Is this some sort of rite of passage to you? Once you're able to come here without having to muster the courage to come in, you'll realize it's just like any other place, and it's not quite that magical experience you think it'll be. That's not to say that it's not good to have hope for those fun things, to to go to college and start having fun. It would be a terrible thing to lose that sort of hope for the future, but to sacrifice the present for an unknown future. If you keep doing that, that clock keeps ticking.
I get it. My problem is me.
Ooh, what a revelation to admit to yourself. Yeah, that takes a lot of understanding of yourself to be able to know that and to not try to just make excuses or rationalize it. It's like, the problem is this, but that's only because of that. Or, I would do this, but I can't because of this external factor. It's not my fault, but he is able to look inside himself and say, yeah, I am the problem. It's painful, it's hard, you hate to do it, but that is the case sometimes. So huge credit to Junpei here for sorting this all out by himself like this.
Going on like fighting was my duty and all. Actually, it's just all I'm good at.
And that's a hard road to go down too, when you really do take that stock of you. I'm not good at that. I will be the first to admit that. I should try to get better at it, but that's one of those hard things to do. I mean, yeah, when you face those harsh realities like he's talking here, I've been thinking it's my duty, but it's what I'm good at. It's what defines me, basically. And is that all I have?
Because without that, I'm nothing.
And that's again where we're talking about this monologue in isolation here. It would be an almost impossible thing to really take to somebody else and say, hey, here's everything that's on my mind. I'd love to be there for him, but we're not on the best terms in the moment. Not for either of our faults, but here he is, kind of like we said, reinforcing those thoughts then of, without that, I'm nothing. I mean, and that's not true. I'm sure anybody else at the dorm could talk about all sorts of great things about Junpei. His ability to lighten the mood, to keep us all, to bring the levity to situations and things, to find the good in things, and to not let everybody else get swallowed up by dark thoughts and things. I rely on him in combat all sorts of different ways, for sure, definitely I do. He is good at that, but there's a lot more to him than just that. But that's harder to see from an inside perspective than it is from somebody outside.
So much for being a hero.
Now, this is part of that journey, right? This is that turning point now.
I can't fight worth the shit anyway. Not compared to him, at least. Damn it! Nothing I do is good enough.
All right, we're getting a whole tour of the entire team. I'm really enjoying this. Some scenes are rough, but they really make you think, don't they? It really sets you can see how it relates to the character. And I can apply a lot of those same mirrors to myself and really think, oh, okay, how much of this can I apply in my own self-inventory?
Why am I only ever right about the worst things? Am I stupid for trusting in something so blindly?
I don't think so. Trust is a hugely important thing. I mean, blind trust, yeah, that can bite you, so you do need to have some awareness, but paranoia and preemptive doubt about everything just puts up walls before you even have a chance to make any sorts of connections. Again, I can only say so much because people in glass houses shouldn't cast stones, but...
Dad. I got this letter from you last spring. I must have read it 1,000 times since then.
To my family, 10 years into the future. Tomorrow, I'll bring this letter to the opening ceremony for the Moonlight Bridge. It will be stored in a time capsule and sent to you in 10 years' time. Yukari, you may be small now, but in 10 years, you'll be 16. You'll be in high school. I know you've been sad because I have to work so late, but you always manage to greet me with a smile. I'm really proud of myself. Kirijo-san appointed me head researcher. I'll be starting on a big project soon. It feels good to receive so much recognition for my work. But I swear to you, nothing is more important to me than you and your mother.
Oh, Dad.
What a letter. There were so many times I wanted to stop and start talking about something, but that felt like one of those things that needed to be read in its entirety there. But wow. I mean, again, we're still inferring a lot of things on that, but there were a lot of important details and things that we can make those inferences based off of. You know, this was 10 years ago. We've heard a lot about 10 years ago recently. He's going to be starting a big project. 10 years ago. He works a lot. He's been appointed head researcher by the Kirijo Group. That's a lot of coincidences to all line up. And she's had this letter, she said, since last spring, and she's been reading it ever since. So that really frames a lot more of her motivation to try to understand this incident from 10 years ago. Again, you know, this is all inferences because we don't know specifics, but just based on what we're seeing here and the contents of that letter, it really makes you think.
Yukari, I wonder, are you enjoying life? Do you have high hopes for the future? Do you still look towards tomorrow with excitement and wonder like you do now?
Ooh. What a hard thing to hear, thinking about yourself 10 years ago. And do you still have that same outlook that the future could be anything, that you can do anything? Do you still have that spark? It would be everyone's hope to say, yeah, I still do. And for those that do, congratulations. I like to think I still do, but it's really hard to say, what 10 years ago me, how that would compare to the me of today? Or the me in 10 years' time, how is that going to compare to the me of right now?
No matter what happens in the next 10 years, I hope you're happy.
And at the end of it all, dreams, accomplishments, anything, if you're happy, what more could you ask for? I mean, yeah, yes, you could ask for more, but at the end of it, if you're happy, that's great. That's everything else is just good on top of that. No matter what you have, if you're not happy, that's hard.
And I hope this letter brings a smile to both you and your mother's faces. Eiichiro Takeba, March 6th, 2000.
No matter what happens, huh? All I can do is believe. I won't turn my back. I won't be like Mom.
This is a bit of interesting information. We haven't heard her talk about her mom before.
Not ever.
Oh, some not so good feelings between the two of them, it sounds like. Wow, what a morning. See, this is where I expected the day to start, so to get to see all of that was really great, important stuff. Just felt like a continuation of last night's meetings, and I'm not complaining at all. This was all such a great peek into the thoughts of the characters and what's driving them right now. Here we am with me, not talking to anybody, not taking any thoughts. I'm just thinking exams are coming up. Ooh, it's almost time for the home shopping show. The very first thing I'm going to do is save the game. And I do like to think that to some extent I have been putting some thought into things. I mean, I talked it out with you guys, so I'm thinking a lot of those things I was saying were kind of things that would be going through my character's head here. I mean, he is me at the end of the day, so, trying to make that distinction of this character versus me, it's a fine line. But I won't say that I've done nothing, I hope. So, all that out of the way, I went to Akatsu Kitchen last night, and that was the plan. I was thinking about things from the meeting then, so... I guess all we can do is just keep moving forward. I hope we can try to get closer as a team. I'm excited by some of the things I heard. Impressed by everybody and the way they're handling things, and just only hope I can be as productive in living up to how I'm going to address them as they have been. So, enough of that. Let's continue on with Sunday. And what better way than to start with Tanaka's amazing commodities. An irritatingly catchy song comes from the speakers.
It's amazing commodities!
Hello everyone! Welcome to the home shopping show, Tanaka's Amazing Commodities. I'm your host, Tanaka, with a live presentation of my amazing commodities. We'll show you great products at unbeatable prices. So don't touch that dial, because you won't want to miss these.
I'm going to do it!
Today we're introducing the Outdoor Activity Set. Summer vacation is upon us. We have just the thing for you this hot summer.
Good.
Ooh. Sorry. First up, we have the Max safety shoes. Stay stable on any terrain. All right, I'm gonna cut off President Tanaka here real quick. Max safety shoes. That was something Elizabeth requested that she wanted to see. They've been a popular item online apparently, and she wanted to see some. I'd wondered where we were going to come across some. I wasn't sure it was going to be Tartarus. I think we'd floated the idea of it maybe being on Tanaka's Amazing Commodities if it was something that was being popularly sold. So it looks like that was the case. Oh my goodness, it's wonderful. But wait, there's more.
Not bad.
We'll throw in this. Instant curry, too. Guess how many? 2. All that for just 9,800 yen. That's pretty good, actually. I mean, the curry is just kind of an add-on that I wasn't really looking for, so 10,000 for the shoes is comparable to what's currently available at Officer Kurosawa's, and I'd like to think, hopefully, that they'll be a little bit better statistically than what we've got. And they fulfill a request for Elizabeth, so at the end of the day, that's really what's important. I can justify 10,000 yen for that. This is a special, limited product, available today only. You heard right, today only. Should I buy the Max Safety Shoes set for 9,800? Yes, I should. I bought the Max Safety Shoes set for 9,800 yen.
Thanks, kid.
Next time, we'll be introducing a seasonal corn set. Don't miss it. That's it for today. We're all sold out. Sorry, folks.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next Sunday, same time, same channel. The shopping program is over. All right. I like that purchase. Let's check our texts. I'm sure it'll probably be one from Maya, maybe one from the elderly couple. I'm actually not sure who else would be available right now. Maybe Suimitsu. Not just Maya. And Wakatsu is online. New message from Maya. Let's wreck some demons today. Ooh. It's Sunday, so my very first thought for how I want to spend my day is probably going to be playing Innocent Sin Online with Maya. Wow. Saying Innocent Sin Online. I don't know how many times I've read that title there. It just is online. Innocent Sin Online. Kind of, blatantly obvious when I say it like that. Take that step to think about it. I don't know. I was just thinking, it's like, oh, Maya is online. No, it's about Innocent Sin Online. Wow. So yeah, either way, that's kind of where I'm looking at my day potentially going. And healthy brain food from Wakatsu. Are you eating well? Keeping a well-balanced diet nourishes your brain, which in turn can improve your studies. We prepare great food with all our hearts just for you. Remember, the healthy brain stems from healthy food. Wakatsu's got your back. All right. That's looking good. If I do spend time on the game, do I have a hermit persona? I do. Same one from last week. But I still want to head out and see some things. See if I can catch the tail end of Phoenix Ranger Featherman R downstairs at the TV. See if anybody's downstairs to talk to. Last few weekends it's been Fuuka. Last weekend it was also Fuuka, or Mitsuru with Fuuka. But is anybody willing to be in a public group right now, or has everybody kind of gone their separate ways for the moment? Let's see. Yep. Looking a little quiet. Oh, she's over here today. How you doing, Fuuka? What a night, what a morning, what a time.
Um,
Maybe we should hold off on going to Tartarus tonight, too. Looks like everyone is studying in their own rooms. Wow. Yeah, that's a really good point. Exams, those start day after tomorrow. With everything that happened last night and this morning, in my head, it's just like, wow, there's nothing else that matters right now, but exams very, very, very much do matter. They're all keeping to themselves because they're studying, right? I think we both know the answer to that, but if it makes you feel better, let's say yes. If it makes her feel better, I'm going to say that's right. In that case, once exams are over, everything should go back to normal. Yeah, we'll do all we can to make that happen. That is one of those things, like, once the genie's out, you can't put him back, sort of thing. That information is out there. Things have been said, things are known. Things once known can't be unsaid, so that's why you gotta be really careful. Let's see what's on TV. On the next episode of Phoenix Ranger Featherman R. Episode 21, Trash Monster on the Move. Don't litter, kids. That very much has that feel of older shows having those PSA messages built into them. And it's a good message. I mean, I'm not discounting that as anything else. It's a very good message, so take it to heart. But it's just that fun bit of nostalgia hitting me with something like that. On to today's news. And off with the TV. So, nobody else is down here. They could be upstairs, but I'm already down here. I don't think, like Fuuka said, everybody kind of is just doing their own thing today, so let's keep moving. I also realize, again, I haven't checked and figured out what everybody else did with their day. I'm still thinking Maya. I mean, it would be really good to study. I really should do that the more I say that. Look at those three to social link choices. Suimitsu, Maya, and the old couple. I think those were the ones I'd mentioned earlier. And maybe I'm just kind of following along with people here, but I do feel a little bit better about doing social link activities. 91% of people went that direction today, so there's something to be said for sticking with the crowd in some things. Not everything, but I don't feel as bad. I mean, if like 3% of people did social links and I was trying to prioritize that over studying, that might make me wonder a little bit, but I don't feel as guilty taking that time if other people have done so as well. That's not really a good reason to justify my actions. It's that if everybody jumped off a bridge idea, but at some point you have to trust people or rational actors, right? And they wouldn't be jumping off a bridge without good reason. Hopefully. I don't know. I'm still thinking playing Innocent Sin Online with Maya sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe there's nothing more I need to justify than that. But I still want to get out and see what's around. And thank goodness I did. We're going to Port Island Station because we're going to go feed the weak cat. I don't know how I even let that almost slip my mind. A lot of people around. It's a Sunday. I'm walking through a few of them down the stairs here. That movie theater is too busy to see a show, so no place for me there. Where's the cat? But there's the timid cat. I was also noticing, this is the scene where we saw the cutscene this morning. That was the few crates there that Shinjiro was sitting on. And weak cat, I am here with your breakfast, lunch, brunch. I'll give you all three. I've got 3 cans of cat food if that's what you want. Mew. The cat looks very weak. It seems like it might be hungry. I will 100% give it super cat food. It can have anything in my bag if it wants it. Mew. Ooh. The strongest meow we've heard so far. The cat is purring loudly. It seems happy. It's fun where little things, I say little things, big things like that, but things like that can really just make the whole day feel that much better. Like, the cat is happy. I'm happy. There's still a lot of important things going on, and it doesn't change that, but it gives me something to feel happy about. And I like that. and it seems to have regained all of its energy by eating the cat food. I think it's okay. I think it'll be okay without me having to feed it anymore. I'm glad, but I like feeding the cat. Can I still feed the cat? I want it to be independent and able to thrive on its own, but I want to keep that connection to it as well. Benevolent protector. Nursed the cat back to health. It is the energetic cat. Oh. Wow. Everything going on around me, and I feel like this is like the biggest thing I've done this week. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, we had a full moon on Tuesday, but I fed the weak cat. It's not the weak cat anymore. It's the energetic cat. It's nice to have those little things that make you happy, but this feels like such a big one. It's almost unreal at this point, though. I mean, having kind of adopted the weak cat as the mascot for this playthrough, there's a little bit of weirdness to say it's not the weak cat anymore. And I'm not sure it'll ever not be the weak cat to me. Not in a way that I want it to be the weak cat, because I'm happy to see it's the energetic cat, but it's going to take some doing for me to learn that, okay, this is the energetic cat now. Meow. It's going to be harder to read that every day. I'm not going to stop talking to the energetic cat, but sometimes it's little mews. I'm going to miss those. It also seems to have grown. Wow. Congratulations, energetic cat. I hope I can continue to better myself as well. Follow your example. But this isn't the end. This is just it for today. So you take care, and I will definitely see you as soon as I am able. Hopefully tomorrow. Well, that was a cool development. And I get to go tell Elizabeth. And I've got 2 leftover cans of cat food, so I'm not sure what to make of that, but it won't be lunch, that's for sure. Let's work our way back around to Polonium Mall from this way today. See if there's anybody to talk to on this Sunday. At least experience how busy it is now. I'm not seeing anything standing out. Nobody's got anything new that they want to say to me. So I won't bother them on their day off. I'll still spiral up here, though, and stop in here. Probably nothing new to see, but it's air-conditioned and it's a place to stop, so that's enough of a win in the summer, isn't it? Yep, everything's still sold out. But again, it's just that list of things I can say I did with my day. I fed the energetic cat. I went to the Net Cafe. I stopped by the Naganaki Shrine and stared at the... What am I going to stare at? Probably the Sacred Tree. It just seems like a good place to unwind. I mean, that's definitely my favorite place at the shrine. And that's, on a list of things to compete with, but it still wins. I wonder if I'll see Ken Amata here as well. For the last few weeks, we've been seeing him with Yukari and Junpei, but something tells me they're doing other things today, so I wonder if Ken is still here. If he is, he's good at hiding. Stripey, the guy we met who was a friend of Maiko's. He was sitting on the bench here that one time. She introduced me as a friend of hers, and to him as a friend of hers, and said that his name was Stripey. She didn't know what his real name was. She just called him that because of the jacket he wore with a striped pattern on it. I never learned a name beyond that either, so he's still Stripey. But he said he hangs out here on Sundays. I've yet to see him here, but one of these days, I'm sure he'll make good on that promise. So that was part of the reason to come here, but the biggest thing is to just take a bit of a break. I mean, I know there's a lot going on in my character's head right now because the whole party's dealing with that, so what better time to just step back and try to take a bit of a break? Some deep breaths, some cleansing thoughts. Let's all try to follow that example. Maybe get some water, whatever you're going to drink. Just have a bit of a break. Alright, how's everybody feeling? Was that enough of a break? Alright, I'm feeling good too. Let's continue on with the day. Next stop's going to be Polonia Mall. And from there, I'm going to play Innocent Sin Online today. I'm going to follow Akihiko's advice and maybe use that to justify my own actions, but a couple nights ago when we were studying, he talked about the importance of taking breaks. And what better break than playing some online games? I only get to do those on Sundays, since I'm busy with other things during the week, so this is kind of that chance to do something that I like, with someone I like, and interacting with Maya. So, I'm going to plan to do that unless something happens here at the mall. There's always a bunch of games on Sundays: Punch Boxer, Real Wheel Racer, and Edgar's House of Fortunes. None of which I'm really looking at, but it's nice to stop in and see them. Oh, Hige Pharmacy, I did my shopping yesterday on the sale, so I don't really need to buy anything today, but I'll still talk with the pharmacist. Gosh, it's getting hot again. Thank you for the reminders. But thank you for the products, the merchandise, the sales, and huge news. That super cat food, the weak cat is energetic. It loved it, and thank you so much for selling it to me. I'm so happy to have been able to purchase it.
Done already?
I am, but keep it up. I'm so happy to have this pharmacy here.
Come again, yeah?
I will. That's good. Nobody's missing. Trying to get into a better habit of checking that. Typically, Elizabeth's been letting me know.
What'll it be? Take as long as you need.
Still nothing new here. Actually, I wasn't going to check the footwear.
Take as long as you need.
Okay, so yeah, 9,800. It's a step up from the combat boots, but it's not that far of a departure. So that was a good price for this morning's purchase. So Officer Kurosawa, thank you for everything you do. I hope the day is going well, that the town is as calm as can be, and you don't have to worry about anything today. Just try to both make it as good a day as we can.
All done here?
I am.
Be seeing you.
Get to share the great news with Elizabeth about the cat.
Good day. Are you accepting a request?
I'm here to report. I have fed the hungry cat.
Let's hear the results.
It seems you've completed a request. One moment, please, while I check. I see you have successfully fed the hungry cat.
That is a great relief.
Thank you. I can feel relief in the very cockles of my heart. I hope it prospers forever and ever. Yes, we all do. I do. I probably shouldn't speak for you guys, but I am going to in this point. Yeah, we all hope for that. All right, male summer garb. I'd have done this for free, but to have a reward, that's even better. And no new activities to pick up, so just a report today.
Very well, then.
And since I'm gaming, I've already got the right persona, so I don't need to pick anything else up in the Velvet Room here, but I'm still going to stop in and check in with Igor.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Igor, Elizabeth, I hope Sunday has been a good day so far. I'm really going to need to continue to count on the both of you. There's been some developments. We're going to be going after 6 more big shadows in the months to follow. I'll continue to rely on you to help me along the way, so please continue to take care of me.
We look forward to your next visit.
Just enough of a stop in to say hi and to keep them as part of my daily life, because they are just that important to me. So, I think that covers the Sunday stroll I was going to take. Hey there, Suemitsu. Gourmet King, Your Majesty. So, let's make our way back to the dorm. Hard to speak for the evening, but I'm going to take that break during the day today to enjoy some games, and then I'm going to hopefully try to do something academic tonight, whether it's another trip to Wakatsu. I'd really love it if there was a study session going on tonight, because those mean so much to me. But given the way the team is right now, that might not be something any of us really want to do, which I don't blame other people. Sometimes that bit of distance and time is what it takes to move past things and kind of sort some stuff out. But I'm going to save the game again here. last time we interacted with Maya, it was a good day. I'd logged in and she was talking to herself about having something she wanted to reveal to me. And I was there and I revealed that I was overhearing her talking to herself, and she was kind of surprised and a little flustered by that. But she was able to tell me then that at the school she works at, there's actually someone she likes. And she revealed that it was one of the students in her homeroom, but she said it was someone she likes, but that she didn't want that to change our gaming relationship. She said we're still going to be gaming buddies, and she doesn't want anything like that to change the fun we have together. So I appreciated that level of interaction and that care, because she wanted that distinction of, I have things in my life that I am trying to pursue, people I want to try to get closer to, but I don't want to lose what we have between us either. So by changing one aspect of my life, that doesn't mean I want to change what we have with us. So I appreciated that level of care, and that she trusted me with that. And so we got a little bit closer. It increased our social link rank. And it came to light after the fact, as she was about to log off, that she said she was going to head to a salon because she was hoping that she could get the attention of the one she likes and just see if maybe she could get his attention. She was definitely taking the passive approach and not taking any of the first steps, but she was going to go to a salon in hopes that Shima-kun would notice her. So that was quite the cliffhanger we left off on last time. I don't know if we'll actually progress any further this time around, but time will tell. Let's see what the summary said last time, though, just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Rank 8 already, wow. Maya excitedly revealed that she currently has a crush. It sounds like he's a student at her school, and she seems rather head over heels for him. So, let's move on. Another good day to spend some time with a friend, to get to play a game I like to play, and to hopefully take a break this afternoon to be able to then focus on what needs to be focused on in the evening side. Yep, it looks like it's just going to be a normal gaming afternoon this time, no social link progress. But that's still just as fun. It's still nice to just have that time together doing something we like. So I'm still going to move ahead with this. Shinagawa Dungeon. I see Maya. I chatted with Maya for a while. The bond between us is growing. Alright, nice progress. And just a good afternoon. We got to game, explore whatever we did, fight whatever we did. Just do those things that we like doing together. So I decided to log off and leave the room. Now that I've had that time to rest and recharge, what can I dig into with the remainder of the night to set myself up for as successful a week as I can? Let's find out. Oh, Shima-kun. Aw, no studying. Well, that happens. Like we figured earlier, the team has other things on their mind right now. Looks like Fuuka's got nothing new to say, so I'm not going to bother her. I've been in my room all day. Let's step in here and get cleaned up and think about probably the tomatoes growing on the... Or are there onions? No, they're tomatoes. Some kind of plant growing on the roof. Healthy tomatoes, okay. 7/16, so we got a few days to go. We'll probably be in the midst of exams, so might not be able to harvest those till whenever those end up wrapping up. Well, just a peek at the calendar here. Exams start Tuesday, they run through Saturday. So, just one more day between today and the exam starting. I'm glad we took time with the study groups the other days if we're not having any today. It seems unlikely tomorrow, since I don't know how much will change between today and tomorrow. I've got some messages. Wild Duck Burger, the wait is over. The weekend Wild Duck set is finally here. Plus, your free drink that comes with the set will have extra ice. Peck away, Wild Ducklings. Secret recipes, mysterious ingredients. Do you have the guts to go Wild Duck? And the Wakatsu limited set meal today. I was just there yesterday, but I had the Prodigy platter, so having something different tonight sounds pretty tempting for my academic progress. Today we're serving up our special limited dish only for our regulars, a full-course seafood set meal, available at a reasonable price. We hope you'll all try it. Remember, a healthy brain stems from healthy food. Wakatsu's got your back. That does sound pretty good. responsibility-wise, it sounds like it might technically be better to study in my room, but I've been up in my room all day. From the game side of things, I know that Wakatsu does provide academic progress, so it's kind of that win-win of getting to have a great meal in a great environment and gain the social skill progress I want, so I'm not going to turn that down. I'm not going to watch the news either, apparently. But I'm going to head out. Fuuka's got her own stuff going on. I did it again, though. I've been trying to get better about coming up with a plan without just relying on looking at what everyone else did, but that's kind of seemed to take a turn of not checking at all about what everyone else did. So let's see how everyone else did spend their night. Mutatsu-san is available. And kind of by the same logic that I didn't spend time with he or President Tanaka yesterday, I feel like I really made that promise to myself, to enjoy some games in the afternoon and to do something academic in the evening. So I really need to pull through with that. I see the shared computer over there. I'm sure that was a good option for some people too. There was that guy selling the security site notes or whatever, something about how to fight enemies or takedowns or something like that. But that was 5,000 yen, and I didn't really plan to have any time on the computer anyway. So I'm still thinking it might be a tad repetitive since we were there yesterday, but it's a different meal at Wakatsu tonight, so that sounds like a place I still think I see myself going. I will still head out into town and start at the Polonia Mall, maybe stop by Club Escapade. The current plan is to end up at the station strip mall and go to Wakatsu again. If anything, maybe some aspect of it is that superstitious side of things. Like, well, last time I had exams, they went well, and last time I went to Wakatsu pretty regularly, so maybe there's a connection, a correlation between the two. Oh, the fortune teller's got something new to say. I could really use an update to see, given the new team dynamic we have, how has my future changed after all of these revelations? I want to know my future. Then let us begin. Guns scattered in the billowing shadow, arms reaching in to grasp them. Their muzzle pointed at different shadows, their triggers pulled on different occasions. Where do you point your gun? What will occur as a result of its firing? Can you collect all the guns that have been scattered? Let us hope that you find fortune in your destiny. Well, there's a lot to try to read into on all that. Multiple targets, multiple weapons, everything firing in different directions. It really kind of... it really seems to fit the team right now in that we're all looking in different directions, and everybody is kind of looking at trying to fight the shadows, but everybody's got a different approach and angle and view of them right now, so we're not all focused in the same direction like we used to be. And this is kind of that me. Can I get everybody back on track? Can I wrangle people back together and know where I'm pointing my own gun? And like we've talked about before too, there's that level of the placebo effect and intentionally being vague on things and trying to seek meaning in things that are intentionally vague and then finding it and believing it to be a result of the fortune telling when instead it was just that self-fulfilling prophecy idea. But still gives me stuff to think about, and I like that aspect of it. It was a good stop in Club Escapade here to talk about all that, though. And again, it's just one of those things to have one more activity on my night, so I wasn't just going out for dinner. But now I am going out for dinner. Not quite as crowded as it is during the afternoon hours. So yeah, more my speed for being out here. But yeah, here's Wakatsu. I'm going to save the game, and we're going to get a good dinner, work on our academics, kind of call it a good night. It'll be a bit of a relaxation time while studying, get back to the dorm to get a full night of sleep, because tomorrow's the last day to prepare for this week's exams. I've got the seafood full course. So that sounds delicious. It's affordable. It's a good place, good food. I'm doing it. I ordered the seafood full course. I can sense the omega-3s rushing to my brain. I feel like I can solve any problem now. Nice to make that progress. I did not think this was going to happen this soon. Academics always seems like the slowest thing to make progress on. And to have this catch up to rank 4, to be considered smart now. Wow. I thought the day was good after making the energetic cat happy. But seeing this, I have taken that step of growth. I was just saying earlier to the energetic cat, I hope I can grow like you have. And to see this tonight, I did it. Right before exams came up. I shouldn't have dismissed the power of Wakatsu Kitchen in the past. I've joked about it before, but to make that progress right before exams start, I'm so happy about that. And seeing that too, it's like, man, I really felt like I made a good choice tonight. It's easy to look back and see, after good results, that this was a good choice to make, but hey, that's how I see it. That's how I feel about it, and I am so happy. 4s across the board here. Smooth, tough, and smart. I will definitely take all those. It very much beats the weak, timid slacker. Man, seeing that just feels like that gives me such a motivation boost for this week's exams as well. Like, look, I made clear, discernible academic progress. It's not just me saying it now. The game says I am smart. I have rank 4 academics. I have clear quantitative data on this. The number 4, look at it now. Yeah, I can do this. Exams they're within my grasp now. What a night. And the day of scenes continues.
It's good to see you again.
Likewise. And this is my chance to talk with somebody. I was talking this morning about how everybody else got a scene but me. So maybe this is my chance to kind of have my moment with somebody else. I'm glad it's Pharos.
How long has it been since we first met? Time passes so quickly.
What a fun thing to say, because it's true, it does, but in this Persona a Day format, that feels so much different because the game started on April 6th. That was when I met him at the counter and I signed that contract. So, looking back on that, it's like, okay, it's been 3 months and a week, or 3 months and a week, give or take. Like 3 real months. It really feels like it too, but in the same sense, it is kind of that blink of an eye. It's like, that was 3 months ago? No, that couldn't be that long ago. I've only been playing this for a little while. Okay, that's just what I wanted this series to feel like, though, to really experience time the way time moves. So, a lot to say for another one line here, but that's kind of been how my day has gone, hasn't it?
So tell me, how's life as a Persona user?
I like it. Kind of like Junpei, I do like having these abilities and being able to contribute to something that feels like something only I can do. It's challenging at times, but having the team around me to overcome it, it's just kind of been that sense of accomplishment on top of the other things, like the academic progress or doing well on exams. It's that thing beyond just being another student like everybody else. I don't want it to be that identity-defining thing, but I do enjoy life as a Persona user. Fulfilling, something's missing, or it's whatever. After everything I said, I don't think there's any way to describe it but fulfilling. Sure, things could always change, and there could be more to look for. There's nothing wrong with aspiring to greater things, but at the cost of enjoying the moment, it's a dubious choice. And it's whatever sounds like such the teenager thing to say, but I really do feel fulfillment with it.
That's good to hear. I remembered something else about the coming of the end.
Oh, that's good. Last time we talked, it was kind of just an unknown. He said it's still happening. I don't know when or how, but it's still going to happen nonetheless. So we've got some new information here.
It all stems from something that took place many years ago.
There's been a lot of looking back recently.
10 years ago, if I remember correctly.
What a coincidence. A lot of things happened 10 years ago, didn't they?
Oh. Didn't your parents pass away about 10 years ago?
I'm going to go with him on that one because I'm not sure I know much about my own backstory, which is a weird thing to say. it's kind of weird to have this line thrown at me and say, I don't know. Because obviously our character, I assume, would know. That seems like one of those pivotal life moments that I can... It's hard to think about, but I'm sure it's one of those things for a lot of people that would stick with you, and it wouldn't be one of those, did they? It would be like, yeah, I remember the exact day.
A persona is like a mirror.
True. I've heard that referenced before. I think Igor said something similar.
Which means a persona user can never escape their true self.
Ooh. There's an interesting thought. Kind of like Junpei getting introspective on things and looking within at who he is and what he is. Yeah, I mean, who you are at your core. You can try to change it, but that takes work and understanding of yourself, and it's a lot easier to not look at that or not confront yourself and ignore the things you don't like. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us are guilty of that. I'll raise my hand and say I'm guilty of that.
But no matter what, I won't leave you.
I'm glad he's on my corner. He still has aspects of being a mysterious boy in my mind because there are all sorts of questions I have, but I know him as Pharos. We've been getting closer together, and it's really just encouraging to hear that he's on my side for things like this. And I'll take all the allies I can get, so thank you very much, Pharos.
Because we're friends, right?
We are. Absolutely we are. Ooh, I sense a faint bond forming between Pharos and me. Look at that. That's rank 3 with the Death Arcana and the Mysterious Boy, Pharos. It's been a great day of progress all over the place. After last night feeling so iffy, it's really cool to get through today just multiple times thinking about how great things are looking. And this is just a good cap to that.
Good night.
Good night. I can't wait to see you again. Wow. All right, then. So that's how Sunday the 12th comes to a close. Let's head back to the desk and talk about today. We'll be right there. Okay, here we are. So, that was the end of Sunday, July 12th, and it was an amazing day. It was kind of all over the place with all sorts of different things being seen and talked about and covered, but it was just the day we needed after the tenseness that was last night. After all the revelations last night and people going away not in the best of moods, the day started off bright and early with a litany of cutscenes. I got to see Akihiko and Shinjiro talking at the Port Island outskirts. Akihiko seemed like he was having doubts. I mean, it didn't just seem like it. He specifically, explicitly said, I'm not sure I have the same motivation for fighting that I do, or I'm not sure what I'm fighting for. And so for him to reach out to a friend of his and to try to talk that out. And it seems like there's definitely some additional knowledge between the two of them. They mentioned Tartarus in the Dark Hour, so Shinjiro is aware of that in some capacity. But they were just able to talk things out. And he said, like, oh, you never change, Akihiko. You're always like that. Sometimes you can be a reckless fool about some things, but he just had that chance to talk and really look at what is motivating him and to bounce those ideas off of an external party. From there, we were treated to a scene in Fuuka's room where Mitsuru came in. It seemed a little tense at the start when she commented that you were pretty good at researching things that happened. You gathered a lot of information from 10 years ago. It almost sounded like it could be the edge of something confrontational, but it was a follow-up then with Mitsuru saying, can you dig deeper? Sounds like she wants to know more about what happened 10 years ago as well. So that kind of calls into question just how much she actually does know, and how much is still unknown even to her about that, and what the Kirijo Group is keeping quiet. So she asked Fuuka to try to dig a little deeper. Mitsuru was going to provide her credentials to let Fuuka have access to the Kirijo Group database. And Fuuka remained committed. She didn't have to stop and think about it or say, let's see, I'll give it some thought. She said, yeah, I'll do that. And that kind of surprised Mitsuru and said, you're just going to do that without question, without any reservations? And Fuuka's response was basically, yeah, I do trust you. I want to do this. I'm capable of doing this. This place and this group gave me purpose, so I want to contribute as well. Sounds like she doesn't have the happiest time at home. She was happy to get out of there and move into the dorm with all of us and to do what we do, so she wants to remain committed to that and do what she's able to do. So it was super admirable, and Mitsuru thought so as well, so she genuinely thanked her and said that she is an important member of the team. She's not just a tool that we're using, she's a member of the team, and we're happy and lucky to have her. So that was a great interaction between the two of them. It'll be interesting to see where that goes with the new information. We then moved off to Junpei in front of Screenshot Movie Theater. He didn't have anyone to talk to, though. He was just kind of thinking about what we talked about last night, and the revelation that once those 6 shadows are defeated, that's the end of the Dark Hour. And no Dark Hour means no personas either. And he kind of figured, like, I want that, don't I? Do I want that? I'm supposed to want that. That's what our mission is. So I want that. But he had that level of doubt. He's like, but what if I don't want that? What if I look at myself and I think that all I'm good at is fighting and all I'm good at is having a persona? Do I have anything if I don't have those things? And it was just so cool to see him take such a mature look at himself and really take a real solid look and say, the problem is me. You know, for all the bluster and problems he's thrown at other people, he's able to see it now and say that my problems are my own making. And I still think that there are some factors that were unfortunate for him around him, like the praise that I was kind of unfairly getting, but for him to be able to own his choices and say, my problems are my own, and only by addressing that can I move forward. And not knowing how. I mean, that's an insanely daunting task to try to dig into oneself and see other worth, because he is just so stuck on the thought that fighting is all I have. If I lose that, what's left? So he's definitely having that crisis, but he's looking into addressing it and understanding it. Massive props to him for that, rather than just ignoring it and trying to shift the blame elsewhere. I could definitely learn a thing or two from that. I'm sure we all could at times. From there, we got to see a scene in Yukari's room. She was by herself as well. And she was reading a letter that she'd received this past spring from her dad, which had apparently been put in a time capsule 10 years ago. And it was, such a heartfelt letter from him, hoping that she's doing well. And, she'll be 16 years old when she reads it, and he hopes that she still has that love of life and that curiosity for the future and those hopes and dreams, basically. And just all the things that a parent wants for their kid. And she was just reading that. She said she's read it thousands of times since she received it. But he went on to say that he's busy with work a lot, this being 10 years ago, but he recently received a promotion to head researcher in some capacity in the Kirijo Group. And that was a lot of coincidental information to kind of frame everything looking back. 10 years ago was the big incident. 10 years ago, he got some big research promotion. I can see a different side of Yukari and her desire to know the truth of 10 years ago, if it has any connection to something about her dad. And it sounded like something negative must have happened, because she was looking wistfully at the letter and also talking about how she doesn't want to end up like her mom. I'm not sure exactly what that capacity was, because we haven't seen anything about her mom yet, but there's a lot going on in Yukari's head as well. And it was some of that self-beating herself up sort of stuff of, why am I only right about the bad things? And, so it's a tough time for her. She's very much stuck on the past, and rightfully so. It's not just one of those weird, I'm being distrustful because people aren't telling me the truth. It's like, I know some things about the past, and I want to know more about the truth. And she's kind of just trying to work some stuff out on her own as well, but it'd be interesting to try to be there and support her for that as well. Yeah, so I think those were all the scenes we saw from the party this morning. That was before the day even really officially started. But just to get to see that different side of everybody. Kind of technically seeing information that the character shouldn't have and shouldn't know, but it's really cool to see how everybody is handling the information from last night in similar ways in some cases and different ways in others. But everybody, I think, is taking a good hard look inside right now. Whether that's talking it out with other people or trying to just face themselves in isolation, looking to the past and trying to use that as motivation, questioning motivation entirely. There's a lot of things going on there. Knowing that, it just kind of helps try to shape things going forward. But that's when my day officially started. Started off with Tanaka's Amazing Commodities, and he was selling those max safety shoes that I wanted to buy for a request for Elizabeth. So that was an easy call. They were about 10,000 yen, but I had the money, so I picked those up. I'm happy to use those to fulfill a request for Elizabeth. After that, I went downstairs and talked to Fuuka, and she had those same concerns still going on, and obviously able to see the tension amongst the team. And she said, everybody's just upstairs studying by themselves, right? That's all it is. There's nothing more to worry about, right? I think we both kind of tried to lie to ourselves on that one, because I know she knows it's more than that, and I know it's more than that as well, but I kind of fed into that as well. It's like, that's all it is. We're all just worried about next week's exams. That's what we're doing. And she said, yeah, maybe after exams things will get back to the way they were. And that is kind of that wishful thinking, but we've got to move forward from where we are, and we'll cross those bridges when we get to them. But it was nice to just kind of share some of my thoughts with her, and to have her share her thoughts with me, and to kind of see we're on the same wavelength again. But I made my way out into the town. I got to feed the weak cat, and I can say it is officially been promoted to the energetic cat. It has had enough food over the last few days. It was looking healthier, happier, bigger, and it's called the energetic cat now. It's no longer the weak cat. It let out a hearty meow instead of that weak mew, which I'm going to miss a little bit, but I'm glad it's doing better. It's healthy, it's energetic, and I'm happy to have had a role in that. And this isn't the end of my time with the energetic cat. I'm still going to try to interact every chance I get, but just nice to see him making progress. It kind of motivated me to try to make the same progress. With the rest of the afternoon, I, as I like to do, made my way back to my room and played some Innocent Sin Online with Maya. It was another just general gaming session. We enjoyed our time together. We did whatever game we did. Got a little bit closer. Wasn't enough for a new rank of the social link, but we enjoyed our time, and it was that nice bit of a break to do something fun and kind of take my mind off of things, to not think about exams or the party downstairs, trying to get back on the same page with things, just to distract myself with something fun, basically. And so that was a good afternoon. Evening came around and we parted ways. Nobody was downstairs studying, so there was no group study session tonight, which was kind of a bummer, but I did want to do something academic. But first off, I headed off to Club Escapade, just so that wasn't my only stop tonight. And I talked to the fortune teller, had some new information there, and it seemed really fitting. Kind of talked about how it's easy to infer things based off of a fortune, but she was talking about massive guns within a shadow, all pointed different directions, and that really seems like such a perfect parallel for how the team feels right now. We've lost a bit of our motivation. We've lost some of that objectivity of what our path should be. And she asked me, will you be able to point your gun in the right direction? Will you be able to reach through the darkness and gather all the scattered guns back into the same direction? So everybody's kind of in their own different space right now. I'm going to try to, live up to the hope that I can bring everybody back, or at least work with everybody. I don't want to say that it's only going to be me that takes on that hero role and does it all, because that's never how it's been, and I don't see it starting now. But it's just that little bit of extra motivation to think about. But after all that, I headed over to Wakatsu Kitchen. Like I said, I wanted to do something academic for the evening. I'd made that commitment, so there was no social links to... there were options for spending some time with Mutatsu-san, but I really told myself I was going to do something academic. And Wakatsu Kitchen fit that role. They had their weekend special meal, so that was the full-course seafood platter. And it was just perfect to, again, take that time to relax, probably review whatever I did while eating, and just have a good meal. And the best thing ever happened after that. I finished the meal, and we got to that social stat page, and it turned gold. That 3 became a 4, and I got promoted from above average to smart. And that just felt so perfect on top of everything that we've been looking at. Talking to the weak cat as it became the energetic cat, and hoping that I could kind of follow in those same footsteps. And then to see that happen so readily, so soon. Like, there it was, I ranked up a new rank. I've got those exams that start on Tuesday, and I feel so much more motivated now, just because I can see clear, discernible evidence of my academic efforts paying off. So I've kind of, redoubled my focus for doing well on those exams. I'm going to give it my all. Not that I wasn't before, but this is just one further level of motivation. So after a great meal and just feeling so good about the academic progress, I headed back to the dorm to relax with whatever time in the evening was left and get to bed. Had to, get to bed at a good hour because Monday is the last day before exams, so that was my plan going to bed. I thought that was going to be the end of the day, but there was one more scene as Pharos showed up during the dark hour. And he said basically that it's been fun to be friends, and he was so happy that we are friends. He said he remembered a bit more about the end. So we talked a little bit about that and just wondered how long he's known me. He talked as well, the phrase 10 years ago came up again, just to kind of continue to fit the theme we've been seeing recently. But getting to talk to Pharos again tonight too, and feel a little bit closer, and to have him profess that he's happy that we're friends and that I felt the same, that actually improved our social link with the Death Arcana up to rank 3, I think it was. So that was another unexpected surprise development that I was really happy to have. And he said he's always going to be there to support me, and I was appreciative of that, and I promised the same. On a good day, it was great to end it on something equally as good and unexpected. So yeah, looking back at the day, it was a very busy day, a lot of important information, but all sorts of good stuff to look back on. None of it I really feel was negative. There were a few times that weren't as positive, but I think everybody in the team is taking a different approach to try to understand the situation and navigate their way through it. I made all sorts of great social progress, academic progress. The cat is the energetic cat. So yeah, the day had so much involved in it that I had such a good time doing and experiencing. But that takes us to the end of Sunday, July 12th. It was a great day, and I thank you so much for sharing it with me. It's always fun to play for an audience, so thank you for being here. My name is Tom Shima. I stream this Persona A Day series live every day at 12:30 Eastern Time. So if it ever works for you to watch live, I would love to have you. I also upload each day's playthrough to my YouTube channel. I've got a playlist of the entire series, so if you want to catch up on any part of that, you can do so at whatever works best for your schedule. And I just hope we all have a great Sunday. Hopefully it sets us up for a good week going forward. Maybe we can do some introspection and see what changes to take those positive steps. Whether it's good food, feeding the weak cat in our lives and nurturing it and trying to see its development alongside our own. Just keep your eyes open for things, do your best, and enjoy it along the way. I've been Tom Shima. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope I can see you again tomorrow. And until we do, take care. Thank you and goodbye.